the tide finally turning on no zero grading policies? Let's look what's happening in South Carolina. South Carolina has become the first state to ban administrators from requiring teachers to give a minimum grade. And if you're not a teacher or a student or a parent of a student, you might not know what I'm talking about. A no zero grading policy means that students cannot receive a grade lower than 50%. Yes, you heard that right. Even if nothing is turned in, the student can only receive a 50 and not a 0. Supporters of minimum grades argue that a single 0 in a 100-point scale can mathematically destroy a student's average, basically making it impossible to recover. Critics of the no zero policy saying giving a student a 50 for work that was never turned in artificially inflates the grades and makes it look as if they put in an effort when they actually didn't. The author points out that both sides have valid concerns, but then goes on to say maybe the problem isn't the no zero policy, but the grading system itself. On a traditional 100-point scale, failing covers 60 points of that 100, where passing grades only cover 40 points. So a 0 has much more of an impact than an A. The author suggests some bigger reforms instead, including deciding whether grades reflect learning or behavior and replacing the 100-point scale with a 4 to 5-point scale, which means if there is a 0, there won't be such a big academic hole. After 32 years in the classroom, I can tell you that accountability does matter, but a 0 doesn't tell me if the student can't do the work, doesn't know how to do the work, is overwhelmed by the work, or simply chose not to turn it in. Those are four very different situations, but traditional grading just reduces all of them to one number. In my district, we had the no zero grading policy, but just for the first marking period. So if a student started off the year poorly, they couldn't get a 20 or a 0 for the marking period. But any marking period after that, if those patterns continued, they could get the 0s and they could fail for the year. If a student didn't turn in work to me, I would usually find out what the issue was and give them a second chance to turn it in for half the credit. I didn't give busy work, so I wanted my students to learn from the work that I was giving, so if they didn't do it, they got that second chance instead of just getting the 0 and missing out that learning opportunity altogether. What are your thoughts on this?